Thank goodness.
Being that it is 7 o'clock,
Beans.
I will call
Beans?
the meeting together for order for December 5th, 2017, for the purpose of considering such matters that may come before it. I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence and remain standing for the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Brightmark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Gregg? Coniston?
Here.
Tanner?
Here.
Staley? Morrison?
Here.
President Graham?
Present.
Mr. President, I'd like to move to excuse the absent members.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez to excuse the absent members. Ms. Brightmark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
The absent members have been excused. Next, we have our approval of minutes for November 21, 2017 agenda and regular meeting.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the November 21st minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Canner for approval of the November 21st, 2017 minutes. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. It's our first opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you'll have up to 3 minutes. Alrighty, we'll move on to our standing committee reports, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management, Chairperson Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration and Financial Management did meet last Tuesday. However, I was not in attendance. I was out of town on business. So I'd like to thank Councilperson Rodriguez for chairing my committee. And I understand their minutes are on file. And we will meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
Alrighty, thank you, sir. Community Engagement, Chairperson Coniston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community engagement met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet again next week in the back sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you. Community Standards and Enforcement, Chairperson Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community Standards and Enforcement also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Economic Development, Chairperson Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet next Tuesday sometime after 6:30 in the back.
All right, thank you, sir. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services, that's Chairperson Gregg. He's unable to attend the meeting this evening due to personal matters. However, that committee did meet last Tuesday. That shall also meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30, and their minutes are on file in the council office. Next, we have Public Safety. It's Chairperson Staley. He's also unable to attend the meeting this evening due to being out of town. And that committee also met last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file, and they shall also meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. That brings us Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Canner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation also met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next week in the back after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Those are all the standing committee reports. We'll move on to our officials' reports, and we'll begin with our mayor, Ms. Kim May.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, and it's good to see you out and about, Chuck. Welcome. I don't have a report. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have our city attorney, Mr. Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. Thank you all for coming out this evening. From the city attorney's office, we would like to report in the month of November that we successfully prosecuted 215 cases in mayor's court. Out of those 215 cases, only 27 of those were of a criminal nature committed by Whitehall residents. So that's about a 12% variance. And I hope that as I keep presenting these numbers throughout the year and going forward, that council and at least members of this body take it upon yourselves to champion the message that Whitehall is not the most dangerous city in the state of Ohio. I've been approached on several occasions by just random people that get this fake news report as it relates to our city, and it's just not true. So hopefully you're taking these numbers and internalizing them and realizing that we are a safe city and we are doing a fine job with our police department, our fire and safety, as well as our mayor's court. We're doing what we need to do to keep our citizens safe. I would also like to ask for favorable consideration on ordinance 112, 2017.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have our city auditor, Mr. Dan Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, I received the Government Finance Officers Association Award for excellence in financial reporting. I also want to announce that also today I got news that we're finally, we've been working on this for about 6 months, but we are finally on the website of Ohio Treasurer's open checkbook. Whitehall is now on the open checkbook. That's all I have, and I would like to ask for favorable consideration on ordinances 102, 104, and 118. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have our treasurer, Mr. Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I have no official report tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, the following officials' reports have been filed in the council office. We have the Division of Fire overtime report for November 2017. And that's all we have. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we do have 4 items listed on the agenda this evening. They are the agenda for the agenda for the December 7, 2017 meeting of the Planning Commission, the minutes from the October 26, 2017 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. We also have the minutes from November 8, 2017 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission, along with the agenda for the December 6, 2017 meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Those are all the communications, petitions, and claims. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Strymark to please call the roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
All righty, we'll move on to our ordinances and resolutions this evening. We'll begin with our third readings, and our first up is ordinance 102, 2017. It's approving and making a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $25,000 from unappropriated monies in the General Fund 101 to the Income Tax Refunds Expense Account.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 102, 2017. Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and adoption of ordinance 102, 2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 102, 2017 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 104, 2017. It's authorizing the creation of the Energy Project Fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 104, 2017, and move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and adoption of ordinance 104, 2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 104, 2017 has been adopted. Our next item is a resolution. It is Resolution 60, 2017, and it's a resolution adopting the 2017 Parks and Recreation Master Plan Update of Whitehall Community Park for the City of Whitehall.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce resolution number 60, 2017. Move for the adoption, please.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Cantor and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and adoption of Resolution 60, 2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Resolution 60, 2017 has been adopted. That's all the items we have under third readings. Under second reading, we start with ordinance 105, 2017. It's making an appropriation for current general fund expenses street expenses, and state highway materials expenses during the period from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018 in the total sum of $33,217,124 and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 106/2017. It's making an appropriation for certain special revenue, internal service, and fiduciary accounts for the calendar year in 2018 in the total sum of $21,032,209.82 and declaring an emergency. That item, ordinance is also being read by title only. Next up, we have ordinance 107/2017. It's amending section 184.3 of the codified ordinances titled Definitions and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 107/2017 and move for suspension of rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, a second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 107/2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner? Morrison?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 107/2017.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of ordinance 107/2017. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 107/2017 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 108/2017. It's amending the zoning map attached to Chapter 1122 of the 1970 Codified Ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.10 C22 to allow Jason Glazer, DBA, Jay's Metal Crafting, to operate a welding, repair, and creative metal iron work business on property located at 4025 East Main Street, Unit C, parcel number 09000197200, owned by Joyce Sheets. That ordinance is being read by title only. It has been referred to the Planning Commission for their December 7 meeting, and we will have a public hearing on it on December 19, 2017. Our next ordinance is 109/2017. It's to authorize the execution of an amended and restated Community Reinvestment Area Agreement and an amended and reinstated Tax Financing Increment Agreement. Let me back up. I got it backwards. To authorize the execution of an amended and restated Community Reinvestment Area Agreement and an amended and restated Tax Increment Financing Agreement. Being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 110/2017. It's amending the zoning map attached to Chapter 1122 of the 1970 Codified Ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.10 C27 to allow D&R Body Shop to operate a specialty automotive repair establishment. Can you turn that off?
It's like that Oakland Raider commercial, you know, we've got the lights flashing.
All right. An automotive repair establishment that will include motor vehicle body and fender repair on the property located at 951A and 951B Robinwood Avenue, parcel number 090000311, property owned by Charter Properties LLC. That's being read by title only. It will also be heard by the Planning Commission at their December 7th meeting, and we will have a public hearing on this ordinance on December 19, 2017. Those are all the items we have under second reading. Under first reading, we have ordinance 112/2017. It's amending section 501.13 C of the General Offenses Code and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 112, 2017, move for suspension of rules.
Second?
A motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 112, 2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 112, 2017.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Canner for adoption of ordinance 112, 2017. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 112, 2017 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 113, 2017. It's advancing $94,230 from the Recreation Bond Fund to the Parks Revitalization Grant Fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 113, 2017, move for suspension of rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Canner for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 113, 2017. Ms. Frymark, please call. Questions or comments? Now, Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 113, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt.
Second?
You all think it's easy sitting up here. It's not. I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of ordinance 113, 2017. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 113, 2017 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 114, 2017. It's amending 161.38 of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, titled Salary Schedule, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 115, 2017. It's amending 161.37 titled Table of Authorized Personnel and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is being read by title only, which brings us to ordinance 116, 2017. It's amending section 1127.02 titled Sign Standards by Zone in the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, to update the Industrial Sign Code. That's being read by title only. We have referred it to the Planning Commission for their December 7, 2017 meeting, and we will also hold a public hearing on this ordinance on January 2nd, 2018. Next, we have ordinance 117, 2017. It's amending ordinance number 19-75, passed July 1, 1975, the Traffic Code of the City of Whitehall by amending section or schedule 4-one-way streets, section D of the codified ordinances of the City of Whitehall,
Mr. President, wish to introduce ordinance 117, 2017, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Morrison, a second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 117, 2017. Questions or comments? I have a comment. This is being done so that the people who live, what's the name of the road? Schumacher, which Shoemaker, whatever. Potato, you know.
Tomato, tomato.
That comes off of Fairway Boulevard. So it's one way going the opposite direction. So the people who actually live on that short section of the street will now be able to legally go the opposite direction that they've always gone before in order to get to their houses. That's what this ordinance is about. All right. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 117, 2017.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Morrison, second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of ordinance 117, 2017. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 117, 2017 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 118, 2017. It's making and approving a supplemental appropriation of $35,000 from unappropriated monies in the general fund to the utility expense account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 118, 2017, move for suspension of rules.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 118, 2017. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 118, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of ordinance 118, 2017. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Ordinance 118, 2017 has been adopted. It is also the last item of legislation we have on the agenda this evening. That brings us to our second opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward at this time, you will have up to 3 minutes. All right, we'll move to Community Date Board. Go ahead, somebody.
Next week, December 11th through the 14th, WCCA will be around to judge the Christmas lights. So make sure you've got all your lights up and on, and we will be around in the evening to go ahead and to judge those. On December 16th, Saturday, is Breakfast with Santa, and that is from 9 to 11:30 over Etna Road. And just need to bring a non-perishable food item, so we can go ahead and donate that to Center of Hope. And then on Thursday, December 21st, we are going to gather over at the police station gazebo for a community caroling event. I think that's all I can think of for now.
All right. Who else has something for Community Date Board?
The swearing-in ceremony for the new elected officials will be December 30th at 4 p.m. at the Senior Center. All are welcome.
Will the road be open by then?
Probably not, but doesn't seem to bother anybody
If
right
it's,
now.
if it's anybody, I mean, if it's something to do with the senior center, we have allowed
Oh,
people
okay.
to get in there and use that.
All right.
So.
I didn't want to break any laws, so. All right, who else has something? All right, well, we will move on to poll council, and we'll begin with Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you all tonight. Thanks for coming out and enjoying the lighting ceremony. And Mayor, if you would pass along to the service department, as in every year, they did another wonderful job putting up all the Christmas decorations. And I thought that the choir from the elementary school was a nice touch. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and that's all I have.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's good to see everyone this evening. That was the biggest crowd I've ever seen for the Christmas lighting. I got here just as they were doing the countdown, but it was wonderful to see that many folks here. So great community support. But anyway, that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Coniston.
I would just like to thank everybody for coming, and I'll see you in a couple weeks right before the holiday.
All right, Mr. Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just thanks for coming tonight. Happy holiday, good to see you. And that's all I have also.
All right, Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also would like to thank everyone for coming, and really enjoyed the tree lighting. Good turnout. Y'all have a good week. Hope to see you next week.
All right. Well, I also want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. It was a very large crowd. I also can't remember a time when I've been there where the crowd was larger than that. Too bad the weather had to change a little bit on us today. It would have been a little nicer if we'd had last night's weather, but that's the way things go. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and I will see you at the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks. And we have no further business, so I would therefore take a motion for adjournment.
Mr. President, move to adjourn.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for adjournment. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Bailey?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Coniston?
Yes.
Tanner?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned, and I will see all of you at the next meeting.
Have to say yes or we don't adjourn.
That's right.
Change that. Not hope to see you, I will see you. Be positive.
Sarah's birthday.